All right, welcome aboard. In today's video, we are going to be covering our 3 different types of plastic and trim treatments, why that's beneficial, and what the differences between these 3 are. So first is the Restore. I set them in order from the easiest to use to the most extreme scenario. The next step up would be the plastic and trim treatment. So this is a full treatment. Then our third and final choice here is the Forever Black. Essentially, this is a paint where if the plastic is so far gone that you need to basically do a recondition, you're gonna go for the Forever Black. And I'm gonna show you how to do that. We're gonna tape the edges off because you don't wanna get this on the paint. If you do, it'll wipe off, but you don't wanna let it set on the paint because it is essentially a paint. So those are our 3 options. And then we have some applicators here and some microfiber towels. So you wanna make sure that the area that you're going to be treated is clean. What's nice about the Restore, what's nice about the Restore is that you can kind of put it on when the plastic and trim isn't perfect. You can get it down really easy and it'll apply, just like very similar to a wax, that you're not going to have to get that perfect bonding condition. So I have the trim down here on the front of the car that's a bit faded. So we're going to go down there with the Restore first. Now remember, the Restore is good for a couple weeks, a couple of rainstorms. It's going to restore that plastic and trim to how it was when you bought the car, a nice matte finish, essentially restoring the plastic. Let's get down there. We're gonna have a lot of close-ups today because we're working on trim. But what's nice about the Restore is that you can just launch this on even when it's a little dirty. So I'm gonna show you how we could do it without prepping, but you can see I have some fading here. You'd think that this would be easy to film, but this has definitely been one of the hardest things to film because it's such a small, dark area. All right, so similar to like a toothpaste, it won't fall off. Nice and gloopy. And then we're just gonna rub it in, apply. Just massage it in. Obviously, it's not rocket science. You'll see where you hit, you'll see where you missed. You don't really need to worry about the crisscross pattern in motion. You'll see the difference between what has not been treated and the Restore. It goes on really easy and looks really nice. So we're gonna have that nice restored finish, almost as if it was new. Next up is the plastic trim treatment. This one's gonna be a little bit more like a coating, to where you'll see it is thinner. Get it onto an applicator. And apply. It won't run. When you do it this way, it goes on really smooth, really nicely. And you can see just off the front the amount of gloss. This is going to be more of a matte finish. This is more of your shiny finish. This is the what it was before. Now for the Forever Black, this is essentially a paint. Whatever you use, like whatever applicator or whatever towel you use, that is going to be the only thing that it's good for, because it's going to stain it. So get it onto a little applicator. Usually you want to tape it off the section, but this is not touching anything, so we're all right. But if you get it onto the paint, just wipe it off real quick. Essentially, you know, you want to tape off a section before you use it. This will last you, I put it on a work truck back at Xtreme, and it was there a year later. So yeah, you'll see it doesn't go as far as spreading, but we are essentially painting the plastic and trim. And as you see it, we'll stain that applicator because it's paint. But it is easy to use. It's not runny. Like I said, if you use a small applicator like this, then you don't have to worry about, you know, spraying it all over the place. Smooth it all out, and like I said, it's going to stain whatever you're using and your fingers. But sometimes the trim is too far gone, and this will literally take the worst trim that you've seen, scuffs and faded. This could take a 1980 a car from the 1980s, the trim, and restore it to make it look just like this. So sometimes the extreme intervention is needed. So down there we have our restore right here, the really glossy part in the center is the plastic and trim. And then down here we have essentially repainted the trim forever with Forever Black. So, and then while filming that last section, we saw, you can't even see this off camera. It's so faded, but in the camera, this looks like a massive scratch. So this is a perfect and prime example of why we would need Forever Black, because this, we went over this with Restore. We did the whole back bumper. Put some Forever Black on there. Smooth it out. And then those scratches, my friends, are gone. So, in order to repair scratches, you want Forever Black on plastic and trim. All right, let's take it home here. Really quick, really easy, because this doesn't have to be a in-depth job, but it's a necessity to keeping your car looking fresh and clean, is that trim treatment. So there's not much to it. It's really easy, and to protect that trim from the UV and for some scratches, it's totally worth it. It is a very small investment. So to recap, you have your Restore. This is going to, like I say, restore that plastic and trim to its original condition, a nice matte finish, really easy to apply. It'll get you through a couple rainstorms, you know, a couple weeks, and there's no night and day. It's not just gonna come off like the spray detailers. It'll eventually fade back to what it was before you applied this. But like I said, you're gonna get a little bit of life out of it. A couple rainstorms, a couple weeks until you wanna reapply, and because of how cost effective it is and how easy it is to apply, it's really not that big a deal. Just toss it on. This bottle would last you a long time, long time. Toss it on pretty much any wash, every wash if you want, but because it'll make it look brand new. Next up on the list would be the plastic and trim full treatment. This is going to give you a glossier finish and double the life expectancy of the Restore. Now, any of these products can be paired with a ceramic or graphene coating if you choose to put on top of these to give them extra life and extra longevity. Any of these will work just fine with that. Apply, let it set for a little bit, and then go over with your ceramic coating or graphene coating. They don't need to cure or anything, but just let them kind of dry before you apply that, so you're not just kind of, the coating is going to need to bind to that plastic. So let these set for a little bit. You'll see when they're dry. Just make sure they're dry. So this is your next step up from the Restore. It's going to give you a longer life and a higher shine, and you can see it's very thin, sort of like a coating as well. So this is your full treatment for that plastic and trim. And then the Forever Black is going to be, you know, for repairing scratches and for any trim or plastic that is extremely old and extremely faded. You're going to want to put this on. Wear gloves. It'll wash off, but if you're doing some thin edges along the paint, just take some painter's tape and tape off the clear coat, so you don't have to really worry about getting this on there. If you get it onto paint, just wipe it off. It'll come off if you wipe it quick, but it's just easier sometimes to just coat that clear coat with some painter's tape and then just paint it like you would a room in your house, and it'll bring it back to its original good looking form. You saw how I covered that scratch right up. So this is great to have in the cabinet for when a tree branch or something scratches the trim on the car. You just go over a section, smooth it out, and you'll bring it back and cover it and fill it and brand new. Thank you guys for tuning in. This was a short one, but it was long overdue. We get a lot of questions on what the differences are between these three, so we wanted to clear that up and show them in action, because I feel that they're a very overlooked product. An example of that would be because it took me this long to do a video on them, so no one's really thinking about this until they need it. But it can really make or break the difference with a detail. Thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Like, subscribe, all that jazz, so you can follow us on social media and be alerted to when we have a new video out. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.